After 5 jam-packed days, it's finally time to bid Cologne a fond farewell for another year. But we still have one final treat lined up for you. We grabbed so many great interviews that we couldn't fit into our previous 4 days of coverage that we've put together a special highlights package, especially for your delectation and delight. Take it away.
Mighty Number 9 is a 2D side-scrolling Japanese platformer that takes the best elements of 8 and 16-bit classics that you know and love and transforms them and brings them into modern day with modern tech, fan feedback, and some really cool new mechanics, and combines them and makes this really fresh approach to the platforming shoot-'em-up genre.
Homefront: The Revolution is an open-world shooter set in a fallen America that has been occupied by the military force of North Korea. The primary setting of the game is Philadelphia. And like I said, open world shooter, guerrilla tactics. So as a player, we're putting you in the boots of an up-and-coming fighter who is going to learn how to fight dirty, run away, and live to fight another day.
So this year we show a lot of new features and a lot of new content. First of all, we're showing Cologne, new map in the game. We're showing a lot of new features of the game, including physical destructions of the buildings, which is not only visually impressive but also affect gameplay a lot, because depending on how you play, you can actually remove obstacles from your way or remove obstacles from the way of your bullets. We've been working on enabling GameWorks, part of GameWorks in the game. This includes physical destructions and WaveWorks. Physical destructions is obviously physical destructions, and WaveWorks is a library for creating physically based simulation of water.
Overwatch is a first-person shooter. It's team-based, very action-oriented. It's focused entirely around epic heroes and their crazy over-the-top abilities that they can do. We introduced at Gamescom Lucio, who hails from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He's a really fun support character. He skates around on these hard light, high technology skates. He can wall grind. He's got songs playing so he can heal people. He moves really quickly. So he's a really fun character.
Mafia 3 is all about the story of Lincoln Clay, who is our sort of anti-hero protagonist. Lincoln's an orphan. He basically has always been in search of some kind of sense of family and a place to belong. And that ultimately leads him to joining the army, where he ends up in Vietnam. And when he returns from the army, when he returns from his tour of Vietnam, that's actually where the game begins. Lincoln comes back to our version, our reimagined version of New Orleans in 1968. It's a very, very turbulent time period. That's a very, very turbulent year in particular in US history. And it's a very kind of iconic southern US city, so it's a great location for the game. And Lincoln, when he returns, falls in with the black mob through a favor to a friend. And that kind of leads him to finally establish this sense of family that he's been looking for so long. But early in the game, the Italian mob betrays the black mob, wiping them out and Lincoln's new family. So where the game then picks up is Lincoln waging war against the Italian mob, recruiting lieutenants of his own, building his own empire, and systematically kind of unpicking the mafia presence in the city.
The Total War Arena is a 10 versus 10 online multiplayer battle strategy game. You have 2 teams of 10 players, each of whom control 3 units, facing off on a battlefield set in ancient times, so it's very close to what we've done with Rome 2 and Attila, but the gameplay is extremely different. So basically what you're going to get is you're going to get players controlling 3 units only. The units are far more responsive than they have been in previous Total War games. You're able to do micro with the units. Positioning, movement, and rapid response is very important. So it does become a bit of a game of skill, not just a game of strategy.
Gigantic is a very fast-paced online PvP game. It's 5-on-5, plus a gigantic AI-controlled guardian on each team. The objective of the game is to kill the enemy team's guardian. You've got to use teamwork, a little bit of twitch skill, a lot of strategy to do that. It's coming out both on Windows 10 and Xbox One, and it's a game that actually really works well, keyboard and mouse, or with a controller.
Hellblade is our first independent game, and we're developing it under a model that we're calling independent AAA. What we're trying to do is create a game with a small team and a small budget, with all of the creative freedom of indie development, but still try and achieve really high AAA production values. And the story is about a Celtic warrior called Senua and her personal journey into hell. And that hell is a manifestation of her own mental illness.
Red Bull Air Race, the game, it really puts you, the player, in the seat of a pilot. So you can experience all the thrills and twists and exhilaration of the real life event, but all from the comfort of your own home. We want you to be able to play the game on mouse, keyboard, with a joypad, with a joystick if you own one or something like that. And we're using one of the real pilot's telemetry analysts to help us put flight aids in there and tutorials and things like that as well, to ensure there's a really smooth, easy learning curve for everybody.
ESL is a big organization, and it started back in 1997, where basically some guys in a basement decided they would enjoy playing each other in video games and making a real qualified victor and unfortunately a loser as well, and it kind of grew from there. ESL is all about the most premium level of gaming, looking for the champions of the world, and NVIDIA obviously represents the absolute pinnacle of gaming and the hardware that's used in that. So a logical connection between the two is have the best players in the world using the best equipment in the world to perform at the highest level and give the fans the best show possible.
And that really is it for Gamescom 2015. I've been Dan Marr reporting for NVIDIA. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next year.